Okay, guys, so I want to take you to the charts, and I want to look at a stock that was brought up during a Saturday live that I did with my trading community, and I definitely want you guys to keep your eyes on it because in the past, when the escalation between China and US, or should I say Trump and China, was taking place with the trade wars, the terror wars, the threats to stop export, it was a lot going on, right? What was one of the things that was moving the most? It was rare earth stocks, because China dominates in that space. And so with them having such, I think it's what, 80%, we're going to actually read up on it, 80% processing capacity of that. They dominate the space to a point where if they are threatening to stop exports, to restrict exports because of whether the tariffs or the trade deals that they aren't able to come to with Trump in the USA, we will begin to see that impact rare earth stocks heavily. Okay, and so with USAR, they have a letter of intent for financing, and they've also raised, I think, $1.5 billion. And so definitely want you guys to kind of watch that and keep your eyes on it. Now, the main thing that I want to say is that just because something is rallying, that doesn't mean jump in it. I'm the type that I like to see, okay, yeah, it moved up $10, but let's go back and see where was the price when the jump happened. How heavy was that level? Was it a heavy level of support? Was it resistance, supply, demand? Like, how strong was this level that it broke when it made this rally to the upside? And what I'm looking for is a retest of that level to see if it holds up or if it breaks, to kind of find opportunity then, but not in the middle of the rally. All right, so we're going to go to the charts, and I want to look at the charts, and we're going to read up on this thing. Okay, now before we get into it, you can already see I already have this little level here marked up at 1910, and I'll show you why in a minute. But what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to read on the latest news with the government deal that you saw recently just announced. Okay, so we're going to skip down to this little part here first. Shares of the company developing a rare earth mine in Texas jumped 8% on Monday to $26.72 after it announced a non-binding letter of intent with the Commerce Department to provide it with about $1.6 billion in financing. USA Rare Earth also raised another $1.5 billion in equity. Now we're going to come down to this next part. China dominates global rare earth markets with an estimated 85% of global processing capacity. Repeat threats to restrict export of materials used in everything from iPhones to F-35 fighter jets led the Defense Department to strike a blockbuster deal in July with MP Materials. When that happened, I talked about this, and I definitely brought that one to you guys as well because it saw a nice upside from that deal. Okay, the largest rare earth miner in the Western Hemisphere. Massive. We'll talk more about that as well as we kind of see how things escalate, because we never know what Twitter finger is going to post and when he's going to decide to impose tariffs, go back on a deal, who knows. But we definitely want to keep these on our radar, okay? The last part is the deal included equity, price floors, and off-take agreements that change the outlook for the entire sector. Now, let's go back to the charts on this thing. Now, with this one here, we're going to look more at MP Materials in another video. I don't want to cram it all, but I definitely want to put that one along with USART on your radar, as well as Energy Fuel. Now, where we closed out today is at 25.22 on USART, okay? Now, you can see here we gapped up, and they came back down to fill the gap. Now, a lot of times when they come back to fill the gap, sometimes that gap can kind of act as a support right around this area, but I was actually looking to see if they came back, refilled the gap, and attempted another upside move. But in this case, they came down and it actually broke below that 25.27 level, and this is kind of where we closed out today. So, of course, you have the post-market that goes from 4 to 8, so it could still be kind of moving along those lines, but we did get back below it. So what I'm looking for is to see if they come back and retest 1910, because I don't want to jump in just because we got a rally or we got this gap up. I want to see this thing correct a little bit and come back down, retest some of those lower levels and see if it holds. And 1910 is the level that I have in mind, okay? So we're going to bring this up here. And you guys see here where we had this little resistance in this area. This was around January 13th. We come over some more. We had some more resistance at this same area here, which was around December 12th, 2025. Now let's go back a little bit more. Right up in this area here, okay, this was right here was around November 3rd, and this here was acting as a support, and it broke, and then of course it begins acting as a resistance. So once support breaks, it becomes resistance. Once resistance breaks, it becomes support. All right, now we're going to go back a little bit further. The further to the left that you go, you will see how strong a particular level is to watch it in case it returns to find your opportunity. Right up in this area again. This right here was September 25th, and this again was September 29th. Okay, so we come back down some more, and I'm going to take you guys as far to the left as possible. We had these plays and touches right around this exact same area of that 1910. So I am not looking to hop in prematurely from that run. I am looking to see that this thing comes back down to a level that I can have a little bit more confidence in. Okay, and so we have a slight little tweezer here, almost of that area. That high point there is 1856. Okay, so it's a little bit further down, but it's around the same area, and we can see that touch in the same area again on that wick there. And so we still have those same little plays around. Now let's bring this thing all the way out. Okay, and look at how many times we've sort of hit that same area over and over and over again. And so I am looking for this thing to either touch that 1910, make another run to the upside, or break it and potentially make this a resistance again and find opportunity to the downside. Okay, so as of right now, at market close on this 4-hour time frame, that RSI is sitting at about 62, indicating that it's really hitting up there towards those overbought levels, which could give us some additional confidence that it can be coming down a little bit more. So if we go to the daily time frame, it's sitting at about 69, almost nicking up there at that 70. So definitely something to watch and keep on your radar. So it's not just a, hey, hop into calls and run this thing up, or hop into puts. It's a simple watch that level, and I will be watching this when I have the alerts cut on for this particular area. And I definitely want you guys to keep your alerts on to see if you can find some opportunity here. And as we see how these trade wars and these tariffs and all of these deals that are supposed to be on the table between Trump and other countries, especially China, for the rare earth space, we definitely want to take that into consideration with our trades of the rare earth stocks, including USAR. So I will be discussing with you guys in another video MP materials again, as we can kind of follow up on my last video where I talked about MP materials to kind of see where we are now. All right, so if you would like, you can consider to join the Patreon. You can find that down below in the description, where I go over trade plans lives every Saturday, and I do this exact same thing here, and I go more into details with the trade plans, strike prices, everything down to making sure you understand your Greeks and everything to give you a successful trade. It's all discussed in that trading community. All right, so with that, I'll see you guys on those